Coming up on Sports Night. The Cats take the basketball court against the Nittany Lions, trying to become ranked for the first time in years.
And the men's basketball team takes on two ranked Big Ten opponents, looking to get an upset win.
Finally, we head to the wrestling mat. Deacon looks to protect his #1 ranking in the country.
We've got an exciting show coming up. There's a lot to catch up on, so without further ado, it's Sports Night.
Right now. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Pat Timlin, he's Davis Johnson, and we have an entire week of Northwestern sports to uncover for you. Davis, we've got so much, I don't even know where to start.
Well, I think we should start off with arguably the hottest team on campus right now. Last week, the Northwestern women's basketball team looked to continue its strong season. Winners of 2 straight Big Ten games, the Cats had arguably their biggest test of the year on the road at 15th-ranked Indiana before returning home on Sunday to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Let's see if they are up for the task. Northwestern traveled the famed Assembly Hall was picked up right in the fourth quarter. Veronica Burton patiently waiting for Lindsey Pulliam to get open on the mid-range jumper. She knocks that down. Northwestern down by 10, but cuts it down to single digits. Now with less than a minute to go, Lindsey Pulliam dives on the floor for the loose ball, and then Veronica Burton out in fast break gets the contact plus the foul and one. She would go on to make the free throw, tying the game with less than 30 seconds left. And then Indiana with a chance to win the game here in the last minutes. And then Mackenzie Holmes' shot is short, and we have free basketball in Bloomington tonight, folks. And then the Hoosiers corral the Northwestern turnover in overtime, looking to push the ball down the floor. The first layup attempt, no good, but look at the effort by Mackenzie Holmes on the glass, not once, but twice. She gets the bucket to go, and Indiana has a late surge in overtime. And now, Northwestern with the steal in the post. Northwestern patiently driving up the court, methodically passing around the perimeter, looking for an open shot. Scheid here with the ball, now gives it back off to Veronica Burton. She finds Scheid. I wouldn't leave her open if I were you. Bang! The senior sharpshooter drills the 3, cast down by 1. And then Veronica Burton again with the clutch crunch time play, draws the foul, and goes to the free throw line for 2 critical free throws. The sophomore drains the first one, and then the second one goes in as well. Northwestern up by 1. Now Indiana has a chance down by 2 to win or tie the game. But Jordan Hamilton's having none of that. She steals the ball. Northwestern will be able to dribble the clock out. They win 71-69 for one of their biggest wins of the year at Assembly Hall.
Finally on Sunday, the battle of some undomesticated felines took place with the Wildcats welcoming the Nittany Lions to Welsh-Ryan. Early first quarter, Pulliam working in the post. She finds Scheid up top for the 3. That marks her 1,000th career point, joining Pulliam as the only 2 active Wildcats to conquer such a feat. Next possession, Scheid says, I was just getting started, and knocks down the corner 3. Northwestern up 8 early, forcing Penn State to take the timeout. Here we go, Cats playing defense. Veronica Burton says, cookie. As she dribbles down the court, gives it to the senior captain, and Scheid keeps cooking from the outside. Cats up big at half. On to the third quarter we go. Burton takes that one again. Might as well call her the Cookie Monster. And Pulliam on the break does what she does. She pulled up. Should have seen that coming in the scouting report. Easy 2 for her. She finished with 21, marking her 8th game this season with over 20 points. Now this game was already won, but McCune's team would not let up. They break the press, and who's there? Chef Scheid. She went 6 for 6 from behind the arc, a career best for her. Cats win by 26. Easy performance from the senior. After an impressive week on the court, a couple honors were handed to some overachieving Wildcats. Abby Scheid won Big Ten Player of the Week after she averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, with 3.5 assists in the team's 2 Big Ten wins last week, making her the first Wildcat to do this since Nia Coffey won the award December 5th, 2016. Aside from Scheid, sophomore guard Veronica Burton was named to the Naismith Women's Defensive Player of the Year 2020 midseason team. Burton leads the Big Ten in steals per game with just under 4, good for 5th in the country. To break down the Cats some more, we've brought a very special guest on set with us today.
Joining me now to talk about the women's basketball team is Eric Rinston-Lobel of WNUR Sports. So Eric, recently you published an article in WNR detailing the sisterhood of the women's basketball team and the strong bond they have between players. So what gave you the motivation to write an article about this bond that they have?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to be with the team at Duke in November. And just being around the team, you got a sense that this team was more than the sum of its parts. And I think my favorite moment from that trip was we were at shoot around the day of the game, and you had the bigs lining up on one side of the court, the guards on the other side of the court, and Sydney Wood came into the game averaging 9.5 rebounds per game, and which is a crazy number. Wood's only 5'11", wouldn't expect her to put up those rebounding numbers, but you had Lindsey Pulliam yelling number 9.5 at her, telling her she should have been warming up with the bigs on the other side of the court. And just hearing the laughter that came from the team, little joke, but you kind of get a good sense of how close this team is when you hear things like that going on in practice.
And so to build on that, how has the unity really translated to wins on the hardwood this year? Because obviously a couple years ago they were struggling really bad. They had a losing record, and last year they made it to the NIT, and now they're on the verge of maybe winning the Big Ten championship or even an NCAA tournament berth. So how's that unity translated to wins on the hardwood this year?
Yeah, I mean, something that assistant coach Kate Popovic has talked about is when she came into this program 3 years ago, she played here and then graduated. Now she's back an assistant coach. She talked about even when they were 12-20 2 years ago, she felt like they were winning in practice, even though they weren't doing so on the court. You mentioned 12-20. And then last year, maybe a bit of a disappointing finish in the Big Ten tournament, losing in the first game to Michigan State, but then they went on that crazy run to the WNIT, almost won that championship, and then they haven't missed a beat this year, 16-2 so far. Couldn't really ask for a better start. You've got players that have experience, Pulliam now a junior, Burton in her sophomore year, Wood in her sophomore year. So these players now playing together, a lot of them for the second year together, and that cohesion has really translated.
And finally, what does NU need to do to sort of maintain the momentum it has right now in the season and sort of be able to accomplish their goals that they've set for themselves?
Yeah, I mean, they just got to stay healthy and keep doing what they've been doing. You know, they've won some close games. You showed those Indiana highlights. That was a crazy comeback, but that tells you what this team is good at. They don't quit. They were down by 10 in a very tough environment, or over 10 in a very tough environment, but they found a way to win. This team doesn't quit, and they always seem to find a way to hit big shots when they need them.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Exciting stuff in store for last year's NIT runner-up. When we come back, we'll catch you up with the men's side.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Davis, we know that the women's team is now ranked, but what about the men's?
Well, it's been a while, but last time the NU was ranked in men's basketball, they were ranked 20th after the first week of the 2018 college basketball season. It's safe to say they definitely aren't ranked right now.
Well, you're right about that, but they did face off against a pair of top 25 ranked teams this past week. Coach Collins and crew battled with 24th ranked Illinois and 17th Maryland. Despite not being favored in either, the young Cats didn't hear that from anyone. Roll the tape. Cats found themselves in Champaign-Urbana amongst a hostile Illini gathering. Early first half, A.J. Turner passed it off the top to Ryan Young, who hits Kofi Cockburn with a fat spinorama and lay-in for 2. Then Ayu Dosunmu gets the screen from Kipper Nicholas, finds a roll into the basket, and wham bam, thank you ma'am for 2. Halftime scoring it up as Illinois 38, Northwestern 34. Trent Frazier gets it here and pulls up from another area code. Splash, making Frazier the 50th Illini to reach a 1,000-point milestone. Then Trent Frazier reaches and Pat Spencer teaches on the pick and roll, with Spencer finessing the and one bucket. Pull the Cats within 2. Then up next, Spencer dishes it off to Ryan Young. Easy bucket for him. Cats trailing by 7 now. Here it is, a block by Kofi Cockburn, stealing the soul from Robbie Barron. The Illini stay with the lead, and then the Cats are on the brink. 30 seconds left. Dishes out to A.J. Turner. Splash, another 3. Just down by 3 are the Cats, but unfortunately they could not stop the Illini as Dosunmu gets to his spot right here, pulls up in Turner's face. Easy money for him. Illini win by 4.
And this past Saturday, the Wildcats returned to the friendly confines of Welsh-Ryan Arena to take on the 17th ranked Maryland Terrapins. And let me tell you, Northwestern Golfs are an absolutely torrid start in this one, scoring the game's first 10 points, including this tough right-handed finisher from Pat Spencer. He wouldn't be denying that run. And then Miller Kopp gets in the action, gets the pull-up jumper to go, plus the foul. He's fired up, his teammates are fired up, the home crowd is ready for Northwestern to win. And then Boo Boy announced a return to the hardwood with a bomb from deep. He had missed the last few games due to injury. And then Pat Spencer again, this time finishing with a left-hand reverse layup. Who said he's just a lacrosse player? And then A.J. Turner handling the ball, dishes it back out to the key for Ryan Young, who pump fakes, gets the bucket, nice right-hand underhand layup. Northwestern up by 14 at the break. And then to start the second half, Miller Kopp backing down his man, then finds A.J. Turner at the top of the key for a 3. Northwestern still maintaining a strong lead. Ultimately, Maryland would dominate the second half, outscoring the Wildcats 51-26 despite Pat Spencer's 17 points and 9 rebounds. Maryland would win 77-66.
It was a story of 2 halves for Northwestern. They were up 14 going into the locker room, but their real nightmare began about 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the second stanza when Northwestern put Maryland in the double bonus. No Terrapin benefited more from this than Jalen Smith, who scored 21 points in the second, 7 of them from the charity stripe. The man they call Sticks in College Park made Northwestern's upset bid a grand illusion.
Medill advisor Daniel McKenzie enjoys assisting his students in more ways than one. I sat down with him to find out more. For 5 years, Medill students have gotten to know Daniel McKenzie, Associate Director of Medill Student Life.
I get to work with students and talk to them about their individual kind of academic plan and path at Medill and after.
What they may not know, McKenzie moonlights as a pickup basketball extraordinaire.
Some students, when they see me, just like when they've seen me like at the grocery store, are like shocked that I'm a human that exists outside of like the space they know me from.
McKenzie says he started playing at a young age. His style is that of a guard, confident handling the ball and shooting it too.
He sees everything. I mean, this dude's got like insane court vision.
He also has the physicality to play point forward, standing taller than most at 6'3".
I'm more athletic than I look.
McKenzie knows this works in his favor, and it surprises the students he plays with.
My very first impression was, who's this old guy and why is he so good?
Sophomore Michael Bearden is not in Medill and interacts with McKenzie entirely through sport.
I have a different type of relationship with some students. in that they know me as like Daniel, who plays basketball, and not Daniel, the advisor, who also plays basketball, or just Daniel, the advisor, who's for some reason at the gym.
Mackenzie even gets involved in intramurals. Last quarter, his team won the flag football championship.
I build relationships with students in Medill and outside of Medill that is kind of just about the basketball kind of, or like about sports.
Expect to see Mackenzie on the courts this winter playing intramural ball. For Sports Night, I'm Jessica Vitti. If you see Daniel Mackenzie at SPAC, don't be afraid to say hello or ask him to run it back. Back to you, Pat.
Now, I'd be lying if I say I haven't lost to Daniel Mackenzie in a game of pickup basketball. That dude can hoop. Up next, we've got a nice non-rev roundup as we'll break down a plethora of Northwestern sports.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back. It's time to get in my favorite part of Northwestern sports.
Oh yeah, Pat? What might that be?
Well, it's the non-revenue realm. Time to talk about every sport you probably won't see on TV but are the best on campus.
Well, if TV stations aren't there, you can count on us to be. The Northwestern men's wrestling team welcomed the Indiana Hoosiers to Welsh-Ryan Arena last Saturday, as both teams looked for their first Big Ten win of the young season. Led by 4 top 25 wrestlers, the Wildcats were able to take care of business, defeating the Hoosiers 21-15. Number 8 ranked Michael D'Agostino got things going early with an 8-6 victory, while number 1 ranked Ryan Deacon took care of business against Indiana's Fernando Silva, winning 13-3 and improving to 11-0 on the year. Number 19 Shane Oster crushed IU's Davey Tunon 19-3. Later in the meet, number 11 Lucas Davison won his 3rd straight decision, defeating Nick Wilhelm 7-2 and sealing the win for Northwestern. Our Jack Lido has more from Welsh-Ryan.
Bright lights of the Big Ten Network on Welsh-Ryan Arena, Northwestern was up for the challenge, beating Indiana in a 21-15 dual meet. No surprise here, Ryan Deacon with another victory. He's 11-0, and the junior says his work is yet to be finished.
I still got a lot to learn, got a lot of stuff, a lot of unfinished business. So I think it's, every day there's an urgency in trying to improve and get better in my positions, so trying to jump levels every time I step in the room, and I think that it's been a fun year, but it's not even close to over, and still got another year next year too, and aspirations after college.
He's a role model for the rest of the team. He's a beacon. When guys wonder what the right thing to do is, you look to Ryan, you're going to find out. Can't hang on to this one too long. We're going to have another test next week and the week after. It's Big Ten season, so you got to be ready to go week in and week out.
The Cats are now 3-3 in dual meets, and after their first Big Ten win, they return right here this Friday for a matchup with Michigan. Reporting from Welsh-Ryan Arena, this is Jack Lido, NNN Sports.
Northwestern men's tennis defeated Illinois State in the team's first competition of the indoor season last week, but the Wildcats had a roadblock, and NC State came to Evanston just 2 days later. The Cats took home 1 point as a team against the Wolfpack and a 4-1 loss for Northwestern. Number 4 sophomore Trice Pickens took down NC State's Robert Turzak in singles play, marking the 17th victory in his young collegiate career. Nick Brooks was the only other Wildcat to win a set on Friday night.
After that tough loss to Louisville on Friday, the Cats looked to bounce back against the Memphis Tigers. The afternoon started off with doubles as Chris Efron and Steve Foreman won at the number 2 doubles 6-4, and then the doubles team of Nick Brooks and Simon Brathholm would fight their way back from a 1-4 struggle to a 7-5 victory to secure the doubles point for Northwestern. In singles play, the first 2 singles victories went to the Tigers, but Brathholm and Foreman would strike back with 2-set wins, both clinching their second sets in a dramatic 7-5 finish. Then Nick Brooks would clinch the match with a 3-point set victory to earn the 4th and final point for the Cats.
Later on Sunday night, in the second part of a doubleheader, Northwestern dominated IUPUI with a clean sweep. In fact, the Cats were technically perfect in their victory. IUPUI did not tally any set wins across doubles or singles play, and the battle wasn't even a close one. In number 6 singles, Northwestern, AJ Joshi beat Michael Koch in 2 straight 6-0 sets. Stephen Foreman was the only Wildcat who didn't finish his first set at number 1 singles. Now Northwestern hits the road with 4 straight away competitions, starting with Louisville on January 31st. Next time you see the Wildcats in Combe Family Tennis Center will be late February to face off against Vanderbilt. Now we go to Dave Peck for a feature on the tennis program.
Until this season, sophomore tennis player Stephen Foreman and head coach Arvid Swan's stories have been similar but tangential. Both grew up in Troy, Michigan, both attended Troy High School, and both played at least a year of tennis at the University of Michigan. Now, they find themselves both at Northwestern as player and coach.
He went to my high school, so I see his picture on the wall for sports stuff. I've seen that since I was a freshman in high school, and I knew it as the Northwestern head coach, even though I didn't have any intention of coming here.
But the connection goes even deeper. Foreman's personal coach, Chris Shea, and Swan have been friends since before Foreman was even born.
They grew up together. They were 5 years apart, and Arvid was almost like an older brother to my coach.
This coaching link, as well as the connection back to Troy, helped Foreman's decision to leave Michigan and join Northwestern.
And, when he decided to transfer, he kind of opened up, some different schools of, and then, I think I had a little bit of an edge just because, I think there's a comfort level between him and I that was there from the start.
He found out I was looking to transfer, and he immediately texted my coach, and my coach texted me. So within a few hours, I had a text from my coach saying what were your college grades? What is your interest? I might have an option for you. And I knew immediately what he's talking about.
Just a couple of matches into his first spring season, the former number 2 ranked high schooler in the country has already left an impression on his coach, both on and off the court.
We're just so pleased to have him here and what he brings to the team, not only in how he plays, but how he conducts himself, what he brings as a teammate. It's all been super positive. His jump from where he started to where he is now is pretty significant. He can be an All-American. He can be as good a player as there is in college tennis.
From Wolverine to Wildcat, Foreman has certainly found a comfortable new den here in Evanston alongside his coach.
Arvid always says about this year how great the guys are, and I really think that's a part of me transitioning well and everyone else doing well around here.
From the Combs Tennis Center, Dave Peck, NNN Sports.
The Northwestern women's fencing team headed to UPenn this weekend for the Penn Duels. Emma Scala paced the Wildcats with 9 wins, while Alyssa Chen, Sarah Philby, and Robin Song excelled with 7 wins each. In the opening round, the 9th-ranked Cats lost to Temple, bounced back to beat Brandeis in the second, and unfortunately fell short to both UPenn and Columbia. In the final round, Northwestern beat Drew with 3-0 records from Emma Scala, Natalie Kim, and Adele Berdichevsky. The Cats head to Notre Dame this weekend for the DeChico Duels.
The Northwestern women's cross-country team headed to San Diego last weekend for the USA Track and Field Cross-Country Championships. First years Kalia Bartolato and Abby Oslin led the Cats in the 6K race as Bartolato finished 3rd while Oslin right behind her in 6th place. Kayla Fortino and Kayla Byrne also placed in the top 10, rounding out at 9th and 10th respectively. This is a big weekend for the Cats as Bartolato and Oslin both earned spots on Team USA. The duo is set to compete for the team in the 2020 Pan Am Cross Country Championship next month. And this is the second consecutive season Northwestern's runners qualified for Team USA, as Rachel McCardle accomplished a triumph last year. The Wildcats will continue their indoor track season next weekend at the Power 5 Invitational in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
The women's tennis team traveled to Florida this week to play in the Miami Invite. On the first day of the Invite, sophomore Caroline Pozo was able to complete a 3-set rally to score a singles victory for the Cats, while Julie Byrne and Hannah McColgan won their doubles match. Day 2 was not as successful. Freshman Brianna Crowley was the only Wildcat to get a singles win. In the last day of the Invite had the duo of Julie Byrne and Clarissa Hand defeating Vanderbilt's 12th-ranked pair of Georgia Drummy and Christina Rosca. The Wildcats will be in Nashville for the ITA kickoff tomorrow and will be at home this weekend.
On Saturday, the Northwestern men and women's swimming and diving teams took on the Iowa Hawkeyes right here in Evanston. It was a joyous time as Northwestern celebrated Senior Day. However, it was the younger swimmers that stole the show in the pool. A men's relay team of all underclassmen posted a season-best time in the 200-meter relay to help the Cats get off to an early lead. Freshman Federico Berducci set his first record at the school in the 200-meter fly and paired that with a win in the 100 fly to widen the gap in the team scores. In the end, Northwestern swept Iowa for their 5th combined Big Ten win of the season. The performances earned a number of Big Ten awards. Berducci and Hannah Brusnell both earned Big Ten Freshman of the Week awards, with the former also being named Big Ten Swimmer of the Week. This is Brunzel's 6th time winning the award and 3rd consecutive. She's already the owner of 2 Northwestern pool records in the 100 and 200 breast races, as she caps off a fifth first-place finish in the past 2 weeks.
Currently, the women's basketball team is in East Lansing taking on the Michigan State Spartans. For a live game update, we go to our very own Chris Burton in Studio B.
The Northwestern women's basketball team found themselves somewhere they hadn't been in 4 years, inside the top 25. The Cats have been on a tear, thanks in part to a stifling defense holding opponents to under 55 points a game. Tonight, the Cats were in East Lansing to take on a Michigan State team that hasn't lost a game at home all season. Both of these teams haven't seen each other since last year's Big Ten tournament, when the Spartans surprised Northwestern in the first round, and I'm sure Northwestern hasn't forgotten that. Both teams shot very poorly to start this one, but when your offense won't work, let's try the defense. Veronica Burton, the pickpocket, the drive, and the finish. MSU would answer those. The senior Nia Hawley takes it at the top of the key, and look at this floater. So soft touch for 2, but then the Cats remembered, oh right, we're a top 25 team. Pulliam finds Abby Scheid from Ann Arbor. The Eagle has landed, baby. Northwestern's zone defense gave the Spartans fits in this one. They couldn't get anything going. And if you were paying attention about 15 seconds ago, you'll recognize this one. Veronica Burton, coast to coast, the finish, 4-2, and the foul. Cats led at the half, 33-23. And it was more of the same in the second half. This one just wrapped up about 15 minutes ago. Cats win 76-48. Now Northwestern heads to College Park to face a number 20 Maryland team at Maryland. Pat, David, back to you guys.
Do not go anywhere. Coming up next, we have the plays of the week. We will be right back.
Go you Northwestern. Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Before we end our show, we have some pretty special plays to show you.
Yep, it's plays of the week.
Roll them. Coming in at number 3, you saw it earlier, Cats whip it over to Abby Scheid. Chef Scheid, we should be calling her. That's a quick 3 for her.
And at number 2, here's Pat Spencer with the acrobatic right-handed layup. He had 17 points and 9 rebounds for Northwestern against Maryland, but they would fall 77-66.
Did you know he played lacrosse?
I did.
At number 1, Pulliam passes out to Scheid. She hits that shot. That's her 1,000th career point as a Wildcat. Big buckets from her.
Part of the 1K club now.
It's been a great week and show for Northwestern sports. That's all the time we have here on Sports Night. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at NNN Sports and on Instagram at NNN_sports.
Also, be sure to check out our new and improved website at www.nntv.org. For Pat Timlin, I'm Davis Johnson. See you next Thursday right back here on Sports Night. Have a great night, everybody.